What we do here is go back.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Bondscast, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the sometimes comically dark troves of Canadian history. As with what's going to be the norm on here, I've got a co-host, a good friend who knows absolutely nothing about what I'm about to tell him. And you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kyler. I know absolutely nothing about what he's going to tell me.
It sounds like I'm lying now because
It really does.
Hey, you know nothing, right?
I honestly have no idea, as much as I pride for information.
Okay, yeah, no, I told him nothing, which is unusual. So, Tim Hortons or McDonald's coffee?
Ooh, McDonald's.
We're out of time. Okay, very interesting. I'm not paying you to just sit here and talk about coffee, you jackass.
You're paying me?
No, also no.
Oh, I thought I was at least getting a coffee out of this. Huh?
Everyone says that. There's no coffee. You don't get coffee for this. So this week, Bonners. I shouldn't say Bonners.
Oh, Bonners.
Fuck. Okay.
Bonheads.
Bonhead. So this week, cast enthusiasts. That's appropriate?
Sure.
Better? We're going back to the late 19th century. So that's the 1800s for everyone who doesn't know how that works. The country, Canada, obviously. That'd be a safe guess. And we're going to take a look into the life and exploits of Frederick Banting.
Oh.
I
honestly have no idea who that is.
Even
I just
better.
wanted to sound interesting.
You wanted to sound
I wanted
intelligent.
to sound intelligent, yeah.
World weary.
And here I am, looking like a complete asshole.
Nothing new. So Frederick Banting was born on November 14th, 1891 in a farmhouse near Alliston, Ontario. The youngest of 5 children from William Thompson Banting, and Margaret Grant. He attended public high schools in Alliston. In 1910, he started at Victoria College, part of the University of Toronto, in the general arts program. I know a bit about that. I'm a dropout of the arts program.
You are indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why he was a sociopath.
He's not. He's a great guy.
Is he?
He is.
Oh, good.
But also kind of not.
Oh, okay.
You'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
So after failing his first year, I really identify with this guy.
Striking a little close to home.
Yeah, this is why I picked this. We're basically the same human, but not at all because he's way smarter than me. He petitioned to join the medical program in 1912. Okay, minor technical difficulty there. We're good. We're back.
Let's clip it in.
Clip it. Yeah.
Clip.
So yeah, 1912, he petitioned to join the medical program and was accepted.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow, this guy failed his arts degree.
He failed out of the most average,
we should make him
program.
a doctor.
Let's get him in here.
Let's get him cutting
some
people
shit.
open. Let's do this.
1912, man.
1912.
It's slim pickings. So he began medical school in September of 1912. In 1914, he attempted to enter the Army, August 16th specifically, and he attempted again in October, but both times he was refused because of poor eyesight.
Ooh, yeah, that would... Yeah, you got to be able to see the
Standards are low.
Standards
are low, but they're not that low.
Early 1900s.
They take who they can get, but they still want you to be able to shoot a gun.
Yeah, he's no Captain America right there.
But then in 1915, they accepted him anyway.
Oh, great.
So he spent the summer training before returning to school. His class was fast-tracked, actually, to get more doctors into the war. And so he graduated from the medical program in 1916, in December. That was an right there.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
Last one.
Last one. On record. Last one.
I'm holding you to it.
Oh, God. So 1916, and then he reported for military duty literally the next day. So he graduates, and then they're like, get him the fuck out here, because they needed people, especially doctors.
Yeah, send him.
He was wounded in the Battle of Cambrai in 1918. And despite his injuries, he helped other wounded men for 16 hours.
Ooh.
So he got wounded,
Yeah.
and then...
Well, that says something about his character right there. I mean, I wake up with a headache, and sometimes I just don't even get out of bed. That's end me now. I'm done.
Can't go to work.
I can't.
This is it. This is the end.
Boss,
send a
I'm
casket. Bring me to work in a hearse. I'm done. Yeah, so despite his injuries for the next 16 hours, he helped out wounded soldiers until another doctor actually had to stop him. He was awarded... That was an not an
Yeah, no.
He was I'm getting better. It's a disease.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Conjunctivitis.
Is it? What?
Yeah, I'm diagnosed.
You're medically diagnosed?
Yeah. He was awarded the Military Cross in 1919 for heroism, obviously because of all that. In 1918, he was awarded a license to practice medicine, surgery, and midwifery by the Royal College of Physicians of London. So after he finished his program, went to war, actually did some real good, like saved some lives.
Did some good stuff, considering he was a dropout of everything.
Man, I gotta stop. Yeah, he was a big dropout, shitty eyesight. They still accepted him. And for like all that, they licensed him to practice medicine and surgery, everything, basically. He could start his own business
Gave him his whole pass.
Yeah. Banting returned to Canada after the war and went to Toronto to complete his surgical training. So even though he can practice surgery, he still still needs to finish his training.
Yeah, he's got to finish it. Well,
he doesn't have to.
It makes sense.
It would be good.
Yeah, let's get that passing
Are
grade
you
before
any good at cutting people open? No?
No.
Well, you know what? Do it anyway.
Yeah, you know what? We'll give you, 1900s? We'll give you $25,000 a year.
Yeah, we'll say you can do it, just don't kill too many people.
Don't kill too many. We don't want to see below 50%. Let's keep those numbers high.
50%. Shit.
The 1900s.
This guy is a savant.
He's a savant.
So he studied orthopedic medicine, and in 1919 and 1920 was a resident surgeon at the hospital for sick children. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you want that on the resume.
Sounds like a stand-up guy so far.
Yeah. He
Just waiting for this to just boomerang down into the abyss.
It's not so much what he does, just the means they take to get to it.
Okay.
Is a little, yeah. Banting was unable to gain a place on the hospital staff, and so he decided to move to London. So while he was a resident surgeon there, he wasn't like the full-time, like they had him on staff. It was just like, like what I do.
Yeah.
They just lay me off whenever they want. So, he decided to move to London, Ontario, and set up his own personal medical practice. So now that he's a surgeon, he's got all his training done,
he's licensed.
medical license, he's got everything he needs, decides to set up his own practice. So from July 1920 to May 1921, he continued his general practice while teaching orthopedics and anthropology part-time at the University of Western Ontario in London. But because his medical practice, wasn't actually doing that well, it wasn't doing that great.
Here's where it starts to take a little turn.
Not even a turn. He focused his efforts on that sort of part, like side stuff of teaching orthopedics and anthropology for some reason. Like I looked into it. There was never a point when he specifically learned about anthropology.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of just doing his own thing.
He is. I know about people. I know about people. Like, I don't know why he sounds like that. I'm going to work on that. People. The people. Oh, I live in Canada.
Nothing racist against the French, but I mean, the people.
Baguette.
Anthropology.
Yeah, no. So that was his breadwinner then. So not the surgery, not what he went to school for, went to war for, but the side stuff, teaching. Which, just fine. Like, that's honestly, it's also, he did good work in that too. So from 1921 to 1922, he lectured in pharmacology as well at the University of Toronto. So, like, this is a guy, again, pharmacology is a fairly intricate and diverse subject. Like, I don't know how you...
I'm shaking my head, yes, but I have no idea what pharmacology is.
It's like the study of different medicines, how to administer them, like how much dosage, like what our pharmacists are today. They're licensed.
I get you. See, my brain immediately went to farm animals. And I was like,
he played a lot of Farmville. He's very good.
You know, I'm pretty good at stitching up people. You should try with cow.
Do you like hay? Oh, no. Okay, well. He actually received his medical degree in 1922 and was awarded an unnamed gold medal. I couldn't find anything on that either. He just received a gold medal for something in 1922 and a medical degree.
Maybe he was an Olympian.
That would be incredible.
Surgery. He's got the gold
farm
medal in
animals.
Olympic farm animal surgery.
This cow is the most milkable cow in the world.
He even got a 10 from the German judges. How does he do it?
He's amazing.
How does he
By
do that?
God, get this man in the military. It's a cow, sir. Get this cow in the military. So, what are your thoughts so far, Kowalski?
I mean,
What do you think of this guy?
He sounds like a stand-up guy. I mean, he served his time in the military. He did...
He's helping
He's
people?
got medals from there.
Dropped
He's got his
out
own
of
practice.
Bachelor of
dropped out
Arts.
of the Bachelor of Arts, but still became a doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
as these things go.
So you don't recognize this guy yet?
No, I have no idea.
He's actually very prolific in Canadian history.
Is he?
Huge. Like, actually huge.
Okay.
This is kind of where things get a little more interesting.
Wait, I got an idea. But I'm not going to say anything yet.
Say it now.
I
Say
wanna
it.
see.
No. Say what you're thinking.
I
Who do you think this is?
It's a doctor.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper? I'm also... forget that. Rewind it back.
Yes, we're talking about Jack the
Jack
Ripper.
the Ripper,
Frederick Banting.
The French...
The prolific Canadian doctor who murdered a
French-
bunch of people in the United States.
Well, who knows? Maybe he liked to travel a lot. And he found his homegirl in Oklahoma, whatever. I don't know. I'm also just...
Yeah. You're not even
idea.
close.
Not even. I
Not
didn't
even.
expect to be close.
Good thinking, though.
Oh, thanks.
Not at all, but...
Jack the Ripper. He was a doctor.
We're about to blow it up now. You're going to understand right away.
Okay, good.
So Frederick Banting was actually the man who came up with the idea which led to the discovery of insulin in 1920.
Oh,
So that's who Banting is. Canada. It originated. Like, a lot of people had done
So
research.
I was close.
Yeah, you were right on the money, man.
I was there.
I bet Jack the Ripper knew about insulin too.
I was a stone's throw away.
You were.
Oh, Jack the Ripper. Insulin. I mean, the two things go hand in hand.
I don't know if you know much about diabetes.
I do not.
You get that, like, it's essentially like a sugar. Your body can regulate its own sugars.
Yeah.
So although the idea of insulin itself, like the drug that can alleviate the effects of diabetes, was new, the effects of diabetes were not. This was something that's been seen for hundreds of years. Had plagued people, was often like... Diabetes was like a death sentence back then.
Yeah. Ever since the creation of McDonald's.
All those hundreds of years
ago. They were
back in the Stone Age.
They were digging up gold and M's in ancient Greece.
And people dead by diabetes.
Lined up outside. It was such an inventive thing.
Yes. Nailed it.
Perfect.
For many thousands of years, people had been suffering and dying from the disease. Like, it was actually... Like, I don't want to liken it to cancer, but it was the same kind of, like, death sentence. Like, as it is... Like, not that cancer's a death sentence now, but, you hear the news and it's like, man, like, this is a heavy thing.
That sucks.
Diabetes was bad. So how did doctors help them before insulin had been discovered? Like, what do you do for someone with diabetes before insulin?
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming at the time, just send them.
You help them.
Send them to the local church.
You send them to the local McDonald's.
The local McDonald's and help them pick out the best.
The best value meal. If you get this one, you save $20.
You're going to need a Sunday stat.
God damn, bro. Like, this is so cheap. My diabetes is gone. So this will blow your mind a bit. Diabetes was first described in ancient Egypt around 3500 BC. Ever since then, physicians around the world tried to test and treat the sugar sickness, as it was called. However, with insulin still unknown, diabetics were doomed to waste away. Doctors in Egypt and India, and Greece as well, all watched as the patients they desperately tried to save inevitably fell into comas, because that's what happens, like hypoglycemic. Yeah. And then they die. Like, there's nothing they could do. 3500 BC, there's like 3 McDonald's back then.
Like 3, yeah.
Like, that's total, worldwide.
And that's even, like, the population worldwide is nowhere close to what it is now.
No,
so that would have been like...
That's like...
Everyone could have made like 2 trips a day to those.
Yeah, there was only like 8 people.
Yeah, right.
The world back then.
Especially in Egypt.
Yeah.
There was only like the pharaoh and like 2 other guys.
The closest...
They all went down to McDonald's for a coffee every morning. Oh yeah, how's it down there with the pharaoh things? And he'd be like, oh,
how many?
Man,
oh, it's bad, bro.
It's bad, man.
Everybody has diabetes.
All one other person has diabetes.
Half the population has diabetes.
Oh, this is terrible. It's
bad times.
It's a bad time.
It's bad times. And, they didn't even have the stickers back then for their cups, so you didn't even get free coffees.
Like, why even live? I mean...
During the 18th century, doctors began to understand that diet played a role in diabetes, and that with modification of the diet, its effects could be slowed and alleviated. They aimed to limit carbohydrates and increase fat and protein levels in the food that diabetics ate. Fad diets for the desperate in this time included the oat cure, potato therapy, and the rice cure.
Oh. I oftentimes go for potato therapy, but it's more just going out for a few drinks.
Oh, not at home with potato chips.
Not at home with potato. Well,
Do you drink a lot of potato beer? Oh, sorry, I get it. Your potato alcohols.
I drink a lot of vodka.
The ancient dilemma: do we turn our potatoes into vodka or do we turn it into food?
I mean, I am Ukrainian. It kind of goes hand in hand, but. I'm a peruser of potato chips, too.
You're a potato connoisseur.
Yes, that sounds much better than a fat slob.
Opium, also.
Oh.
They just dope them up. Opium, I think opium fixed everything back then. They were just like, this guy's dying, his feet are falling off. Let's give him opium. What could go wrong?
That and probably cocaine. They gave a lot of people cocaine way back then. The cure-all. And lead, but that's
the death all.
Throw it all into that.
You combine it with cocaine and it just does nothing.
Yeah,
it
just balances you out.
You can fact check that. That's true.
Yeah,
snort some lead and then snort some cocaine and you're good. Evens you right out. But a few of which, so none of this, basically it did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really do much to help. So just before Banting discovered insulin, a new and somewhat effective treatment was being promoted by another Dr. Frederick Allen and also Dr. Elliot Joslin, the world's leading diabetologists.
Oh, that's a fancy title.
It would suck to be the world's leading diabetologist before insulin, and then insulin would come out, and then you'd be like the world's worst diabetologist, because like, how'd you not figure this thing out?
Yeah, how'd you not think of that? Duh, it was so obvious.
Idiots! Like, what are you even doing, bro? Fucking nothing.
Sitting in your mom's basement, just
eating potatoes.
Eating potatoes. Potato therapy in your mom's basement.
We put the potato on the man. It's easy, Alan. We just put potatoes in these bastards. So the Allen diet was an individualized starvation diet, which limited carbs along with calories. I can speak. I'm English. I'm not English, but I speak English.
Very true.
With calories for people with diabetes. For some people, this diet consisted of only 400 calories a day.
Ooh.
That's like nothing.
That's literally nothing.
That is nothing. Like, that's like 2 potatoes. That's probably like 5 potatoes, but... maybe not. That's
not.
probably like 2 whole potatoes.
I might have to fact check that one later. That's
Don't
not
fact check
very,
anything.
wow, no.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, well...
What'd you just say?
I'm sorry.
We don't do that here. Just kidding. You can fact check it. Just not the potato part.
It's not just the part.
That's barely anything, man. Like, I would wither away. It was difficult for patients to follow, especially children. So you think about that, like kids got diabetes back then too.
400 calories.
And when the hot treatment was this Allen diet, that's what they do. They put a kid on 400 fucking calories a day. So these children often did not understand the importance of their dietary restrictions. One boy was so desperate for food that he ate his pet canary's birdseed. I think you thought I was going to stop with pet canary.
Yeah, I honestly did.
No, his birdseed, causing him to fall into a coma and subsequently die because he went above that caloric limit, especially with the carbs, and
there's a lot of carbs in birdseed.
Dude, why do you think I balloon out every year? I get into the birdseed.
Why do you think those canaries are all fucking
Chunkmeister? Watch out, look at that canary. Oh my god, how's it fly? That is thick. So while the diet allowed some patients to live long enough to see the discovery of insulin, which this wasn't a surefire thing, and it didn't last long either. Like, a person's not going to last long on 400 calories a day.
Oh, yeah, no, that's like...
Most were not so lucky, and some of them, because of the diet, even starved to death. So it was death by starvation, or, diabetes did you in. So it was bad.
Yeah, that sucks.
It was really bad. What kind of spurred Banting into his research was an article he read about the pancreas, which piqued his overall sort of escapade into it. So this is what led him into delving more into diabetes and a way to cure it. Banting had to give a talk on the pancreas to one of his classes at the University of Western Ontario on November 1st, 1920. And he was, therefore, reading reports that other scientists had written. Like, he's educating himself, much like I do when I do these podcasts. I educate myself, and then I don't cure diabetes.
Nope.
I come over to your place. We have a couple drinks.
We have a couple drinks. We sit on a twin bed, and we talk about this.
It's cozy in here.
It's very cozy in this room.
Knee to knee.
Extra soft comforting.
This bed's awful.
His bed is...
There's a spring in
This
me.
is the first time I've been in this spare room since I moved into this house.
You don't sleep in here every night?
No. I sleep in the nice bed.
Okay, so this is the gross bed. I'm glad we're hosting this here. So you read these reports. There's one. Therefore, reading the reports from other scientists, it's what spurred them. Research prominently from scientists such as Naunin, I'm going to butcher these names.
Yeah.
Minkowski, Opie, Sharpe, Schaefer, and others suggested that diabetes resulted from a lack of protein hormone secreted by the isolates of Langerhans in the pancreas. So that's just a bunch of jargon saying that it's essentially another language.
Yeah. That's all moon ruins to me.
You understand what I'm saying. I don't need to go into it.
I get it. Yeah, there's names, there's jargon,
there's people
pancreas.
They did stuff.
There's people they did stuff pancreas.
Basically what it means, though, is that these scientists had sort of isolated what was inherently causing diabetes, where it stemmed from in the pancreas, a lack of, what did I even say? a protein hormone secreted by those isolates of Langerhans. I'm going to stop saying that because I'm saying it wrong.
Isolates.
But it was just an amalgamation of this information that all coincided that kind of pointed towards a set sort of variable that was causing people to be diabetic. Schaefer had named this putative hormone insulin. So that's actually where it sort of was coined. So what people were lacking, diabetics, was insulin. The hormone was thought to control the metabolism of sugar. Its lack led to an increase of the sugar in the blood, which was then excreted in the urine. Attempts to extract insulin from ground up pancreas cells was unsuccessful. And this is where the issue was. They could never find a way to synthesize it in a manner that didn't destroy it and make it unusable.
Okay. And this is where they start murdering people, right?
This is where they bring Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper. They called up their homeboy.
He
was the owner of one.
We need the best in the business.
Cell phones, 30 home phones. Oh, yeah, we just gotta call up our boy Jack.
They iMessaged him. Hey, yo, Jack!
Not a very commonly known thing, but I mean, the new iPhone just came out in 1900s.
Apple has been around for over 100 years. You can fact check that.
Fact check that.
Yep. Do it.
Take that to your facts and check it.
Fact that check. I'd fact that check every day of the week. The challenges that this brought was mainly a result of the fact that destroying the pancreas led to the breakdown of the insulin by the proteolysis enzyme of the pancreas. So when they broke it down, this enzyme...
Well, it's only like 2 cuts, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not like when we were editing the Until Dawn playthrough and I was...
Oh, we're live.
Oh, okay, cool. Everyone else can hear about this too.
The Until Dawn playthrough?
Oh, I'm drinking my water.
You mean when you had to edit out horrible...
Well, because the microphone was picking up the TV and the TV was overpowering the microphone and they weren't set at the same speeds.
They weren't.
I spent like 6 hours editing each
Syncing
video.
it up.
It was
awful. The trick is no video.
That's,
people can't see it. It's all audio. We're stuck.
Oh, look at that. We're fucking... Wow, this is genius.
Quality content.
Is that not muted?
I thought it was. I think when it's all red, it's unmuted.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's good. It's great.
Okay, we're gone.
So we're back. Hello and welcome. Ignore me. The challenge was to find a way to extract insulin from the pancreas prior to it being destroyed. So they needed a way to get this insulin out of the pancreas without fucking the pancreas up.
Okay.
Which is what they were doing up until then. They just get that pancreas and they'd be like, man, we need insulin.
Yeah, and they just like cut
they'd
it all
turn it
open
into a hamburger.
Throw it into the spinner and separate those.
Yeah.
Separate those cells.
They'd get on their iPhones and be like, hey.
Yeah, they'd be like, hey.
It didn't work again.
Hey Siri, how do you separate stuff from a pancreas?
It is 1920. We don't know.
Siri was
you
like,
fucking idiot.
Siri was like, let me Google that. Glory for the Queen.
Pip pip, cheerio.
Pip pip, cheerio.
We look good. Moses Barron published an article in 1920 which described experimental closure of the pancreatic duct by ligature. Now, I couldn't find a whole bunch on that, but essentially it was a new method of isolating the enzymes that broke down the pancreas's insulin after it was like separated, destroyed, whatever. So they figured if they could block this ligature duct, that they could maybe find a way to extract insulin that would be viable for humans. So this further influenced Banting's thinking. The procedure caused deterioration of the cells of the pancreas that secrete trypsin, which breaks down the insulin. But it left the islets of Langerhans, that shit again, intact, which is what they want. Banting realized that this procedure would destroy the trypsin-secreting cells, but not the insulin. Once the trypsin-secreting cells had died, insulin could be extracted from the islets of Langerhans. Banting discussed this approach with a certain J.J.R. MacLeod, not to be confused with J.R.R. Tolkien,
the author of one of my favorite book series of all time.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, with that elf that's got the huge donger.
Yeah, 10-inch hammer.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Banting realized that this procedure, or I already said that. Let me just get back on track here. Banting discussed this approach with J.R.R. Tolkien, just kidding, J.J.R. MacLeod, a professor of physiology at the University of Toronto. MacLeod provided experimental facilities and the assistance of one of his students, Charles Best. He was the best candidate.
I mean, clearly, look at that name.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Best.
Charles,
middle name the.
Charles the Best. He was the best. Banting and Best, with the assistance of another scientist, biochemist James Collip, began the production of insulins by... Whoa, insulins. I'm... Just, let me give me a hot...
Here.
What, you got a carbon monoxide leak in here? They began the production of insulin by this means. So what Banting's theorizing, they're going to try and do it like that. As the experiments proceeded, the required quantities could no longer be obtained by performing surgery on living dogs. So that was their go-to.
Okay.
This was their go-to.
Yeah.
Their means of... Because obviously they have to experiment.
Yep.
But, like, dogs.
Yeah, living dogs. Okay. Kind of messed up. For the sake of science.
I'm gonna expand a bit.
Okay.
So they'd get the insulin from dogs. They found the way. They could, limit the enzyme that breaks it down. They could get the insulin. And their biggest issue with it was that this trypsin enzyme was breaking it down. So that's why they had to do this new process. They learned more about this trying different insulin serums on diabetic dogs. So they'd find out whether their serums worked that they extracted by injecting it into diabetic dogs. Dogs that were rendered diabetic thanks to the removal of their pancreases.
Oh, thank God.
So their
thank God
pancreas.
For that.
So they had all these dogs without pancreases because they were grinding them up for insulin, and then they're like, "Hey, let's see if we can make them not diabetic."
Man, we got this closet full of diabetic dogs. I mean,
we take the pancreas out of dog. It is diabetic now.
Oh, it's a good thing we saved all of those and threw them out. This was the 1900s.
It was. They were everywhere. They were only diabetic dogs
all over the place.
They just roamed the street in packs. Being emaciated and losing feet.
It was a tough life being a dog back
It was. It
was not a dog's life.
It was a dog's nightmare. They were essentially running through dogs so quickly, though, that they had to find an alternative.
Oh, jeez.
There were too many dogs becoming diabetic and not enough insulin to make them all not diabetic for a time. Because they didn't have pancreases.
Yeah. Where'd all those go, I wonder?
I think they chopped them out. Turned them into the early McDouble.
Ooh,
yes.
They're probably still made out of pancreas. Who knows?
Pancreas.
I think I just had a stroke.
Oh God! Get this man some insulin. God. Wait, that's shit.
Is there a dog around here? I need a dog.
We need to remove his pancreas. In November 1921, Banting hit upon the idea of obtaining insulin from the fetal pancreases. Pancreas.
So they moved from dogs to babies.
He removed the pancreases from fetal calves.
Okay.
You sick fuck. God.
Well, if you finished your sentence first, I could.
I just want you to sound stupid.
Yeah, it's well deserved.
I sound stupid often enough that I need some help alleviating it.
I did say Jack the Ripper, so I mean, how do I come back from that?
Jack the Pancreas Dog.
Jack the Pancreas. Jack the Dog Ripper. Stupid. Oh, I'm so dumb.
Jack the Dog Ripper. Oh, God. So he removed the pancreases from fetal calves at a William Davies slaughterhouse and found the extracts to be just as potent as those extracted from the dog pancreases.
Perfect.
So just as much quality as taking it out of a dog. By December 1921, he had also succeeded in extracting insulin from adult pancreases.
Adult cows?
Yeah. Humans.
Oh, adult humans?
No cows.
Okay.
People, they're not producing insulin anyway.
I was just like, I knew he was a murderer.
I knew it's Jack the Ripper.
It's Jack the Pancreas Ripper. Ripping all these pancreases.
So pork and beef would remain the primary commercial sources of insulin until they were replaced by genetically engineered bacteria in the late 20th century. So although he discovered insulin, and like it was huge, like it kept people alive, their only way of like rendering it, creating it, was by removing it from other living sources. So not like now where we synthesize it and it's renewable and you can just inject it in because it's
just there.
It is. In the spring of 1922, Banting established a private practice in Toronto and began to treat diabetic patients. His first American patient was Elizabeth Hughes Gossett, daughter of U.S. Secretary of State Charles Evans Hughes. Not that important, but he treated her, and it worked, which was a big deal.
Hallelujah.
Big deal, man. Banting and MacLeod were jointly awarded the 1923 Nobel Prize in Physiology for Medicine. Banting split his half of the prize money with Charles Best,
Charles the Best.
Charles the Best. So he got half the prize money. And MacLeod split the other half of the prize money with James Collop, so the other doctor that was helping him out. The biochemist, if you recall.
Yes.
In 1938, Banting's interest in aviation medicine resulted in his participation with the Royal Canadian Air Force. So not only did this guy, so this is like years after the fact. So he created insulin. He made it. He made this huge cure. Honestly, I liken it to like the discovery of cancer cure right now.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody did it,
yeah,
even if it was
crazy
from
big deal.
Yeah, like if they found a way to do it in any means, like how they were taking insulin from cows and stuff.
Essentially the same thing. It was basically just getting a death sentence, right?
It was really bad,
especially
news.
back then.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot you could do. Dietary restrictions didn't really work. There weren't alternatives to things like
not that
right now.
400 calorie diet.
No, and that was their best bet then. Like that's what they did. That was the go-to. Yeah. It's like shit. Like I have sugar disease. Well, you mean diabetes? It's like okay, you eat 400 calories a day. You die from starvation, or you wither away and die from that. Also starvation because I'm dumb. Or it's the lack of insulin that gets you.
Yep.
But so basically he made it. He did it. He got his Nobel Peace Prize. Obviously why he was such a huge deal in Canadian history. But he didn't stop there. So again, in 1938, his interest in aviation medicine resulted in his participation with the Royal Canadian Air Force, RCAF. It's a thing. We've got one of those.
We do, yeah.
We have Canadians that fly around in planes.
And now. That's only been implemented the last couple of years.
They
were all using air balloons still.
Funded by McDonald's?
McDonald's is funded by Tim Hortons.
Oh, God.
Unless they're American-based, too.
I think it all
honestly
is.
I think it is.
I think it all is.
We don't have much of anything up here.
It's dilated. We have Banting, though.
It's really tough filming this in a igloo, you know?
Yeah. Can you get your polar
bear? I said guest bedroom, but I really meant entire house.
His guest igloo.
Guest igloo.
He built it last week. So his field of study there was predominantly concerning the physiological problems encountered by pilots operating high-altitude combat aircraft. Banting headed the RCAF's number 1 Clinical Investigation Unit, CIU. I don't need to give you these abbreviations because I'm only going to say that once.
Yeah.
Which was housed in a secret facility on the grounds of the former Eglinton Hunt Club in Toronto. So he was a big deal, man.
Yeah, he was a big deal. He was everywhere.
It was like secret facilities. It was like this guy's got a Nobel Peace Prize. He's the shit. During the Second World War, he investigated the problems of aviators. Wow, I am stroking out today too.
Yeah, it's
there's a leak in here, man.
There's a leak. There's something's going on here.
This is freaking me out.
It's too much energy. Too much energy. When's he gonna start turning people into like dogmen and stuff?
You wish. The worst he did was suck the insulin out of dogs and then inject it into dogs without pancreases.
Take a dog pancreas and put it in a human. Turn it into the first dog-human pancreas hybrid.
This man has 2
Hybris.
pancreases. Hybris. Yeah, no, you just like suck the life out of other dogs and put it into dogs they already fucked up. So.
Oh, good. Well, at least he was trying to fix his mistakes.
Yeah,
that's what counts.
you know, I don't
counts.
think it was a good life for a dog back then.
Well, yeah, details.
Minor details.
Deep
Deep skis, bro. Don't even trip. So during the Second World War, he investigated the problems of aviators, such as blackouts, syncope, fainting, passing out behind the wheel of a fighter jet.
Yeah, the G-forces and whatever.
Yeah, forcing the blood. It forces the blood from your head to your legs, and then you pass out. He also helped Wilbur Franks with the invention of the G-suit to stop pilots from blacking out when they were subjected to G-forces while turning or diving. So what those did was they just apply pressure, sort of, to like the extremities of your body to keep all the blood central.
They were really tight.
Yeah, it would keep the blood to from rushing out there, so you black the fuck out, like a reverse boner.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for clearing that up. I mean, I didn't get it before.
Yeah, I realized it wasn't very.
When you said his last name was Frank, I was gonna belt out, oh, he helped him make hot dogs.
The creator of the hot dog.
He's the creator of insulin and hot dogs.
He made the insulin
This man's
dog.
the national hero. Why do I not know about it?
The insulin dog.
Made from real pancreas.
It is. Little known fact. You can fact check that too.
Fact check that.
Yeah. Another of Banting's projects during the Second World War involved using and treating mustard gas burns. So obviously, a horrible time. Mustard gas
horrible
was
chemical
implemented.
burns.
Yeah. And this was something he also took a passion in. So it's actually crazy. This guy found some of the biggest things ailing humanity. Some of them. Mustard gas, it was a thing. It killed hundreds of people indiscriminately.
Bad stuff.
If the mustard gas was used, it's fuck.
Yeah, forget that.
Banting even tested the gas and antidotes on himself to see if they were effective.
Oh.
So that's how passionate
better.
he was to the cause. He'd fucking do it on himself. He was into it.
That's pretty cool, man. He's really coming around in my books here.
Not just a dog
Not just a dog.
pancreas.
Not just Dog the Ripper.
Dog the Bounty Ripper.
Dog the Bounty Ripper. He's turning around. He's doing it on himself now, and that's. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck him for fucking up dogs, but then
fuck
also
that.
he fucked himself up.
Yeah, then he
did shit. He did things. So beyond his, technological science, big breaks and stuff, Banting married twice. His first marriage was to Marion Robertson in 1924. They had one child, William. I'm assuming Banting. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Born 1929, died 1998. Him and Marion actually divorced in 1932.
Oh.
So he remarried to Henrietta Ball. You don't hear these names anymore.
Henrietta, yeah.
Henrietta Marion.
Henrietta
Can
Ball.
you imagine?
Marion?
Ball.
Henrietta
Imagine
Ball.
that. What's up, man? What's up, chick, female?
Sup, female?
Hello, female human. I'm Ben.
Hello, also female.
Oh, hello. I am Henrietta. This is my friend Marion.
My name is Marion.
We're well-to-do. We're well-to-do upper-crust citizens. We would like to get married immediately and fornicate.
I hear you're the pancreas guy.
Pancreas Ripper comes with according to the title. Let us fornicate and have children immediately. Yeah, so Henrietta Ball. That's who he.
Henrietta Ball.
He was with her. In February 1941, Banting died of wounds and exposure following the crash of a Lockheed L-14 Super Electra Hudson.
What
do you think that is? What do you think that is?
It sounds like a plane, but...
Oh, wow. You're smarter than I've ever given you credit for.
I honestly wasn't.
God damn, bro. Your brain's enormous.
My brain is huge.
How are you so smart? Lockheed L-14 Super Electra Hudson, in which he was a passenger in Musgrave Harbour, Newfoundland.
Yes.
After departing from Gander, Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland.
It is Newfoundland.
Newfeasy.
What fun is that?
I buy
to build the boat. I buy to crash the plane.
I buy to killed Banting.
Killed Banting.
Dog Ripper.
Oh my god.
Both of the plane's engines failed. Immediately after he left Gander, Newfoundland, both of the engines failed. The navigator and co-pilot died instantly. But Banting and the pilot, Captain Joseph Mackey, survived the initial impact.
Oh.
According to Mackey, the sole survivor, because Banting dies, Banting died from his injuries the next day. Banting was en route to England to conduct operational tests on the Franks flying suit developed by colleague Wilbur Franks. So this was the deployable suit you could put on to deliver Franks all around the world. He was like Santa Claus.
Oh, like Santa Claus for hot dogs.
Frank
Santa
dog.
Claus for Franks. You're writing letters and sending them off to Frank's glider factory.
Frank's Red Hot sauce.
I would just love some Polish sausage.
Please, just one bratwurst.
One chili dog.
Oh, my family is so hungry. We have not had bratwurst in so long.
I need a small chili dog for my 400-calorie diet.
Just half a chili dog. Any more will kill me instantly. Any more will kill me instantly. And yeah, so Banting and his wife are currently buried at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Toronto.
Beautiful story.
It's a lot of different things. Twists and turns.
A lot of twists and turns. He didn't wind up becoming a serial killer like I thought he would.
He was not Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, he was not Jack the Ripper. He was a bit of a dog ripper and a cat ripper, but... I mean, all in all, he was not that bad of a guy.
Banting the Dog Ripper.
Banting the Dog Ripper. But I mean, who, back in those days,
also
who
fetal
wasn't?
calf ripper.
Also fetal calves, yeah.
Ripping dogs was actually a big source of fun back in the day.
Big source of fun.
You just rip up a dog.
What did you do? You're growing up on the farm, you got one neighbor. What do you want to do today?
Let's go rip up the neighborhood dogs.
Rip up some dogs.
Have you ever seen a dog pancreas? I have.
I have not. And I'm
indistinguishable from a human one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting a little weird for me.
No, man, bro, it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, that's about it. That was Mr. Banting and his work in insulin development. His pivotal role in Canadian history, like that was huge.
Oh yeah,
genuinely huge. Insulin was huge,
like crazy big.
And also the fucked up shit he did.
Yeah, also that too. I mean, yeah, we've talked a lot about ripping dogs, and also mustard gassing himself. Right?
Yeah,
that's
you
pretty
rip
cool.
a few dogs, you snort some mustard gas, you get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Rip a few dogs, have some mustard.
Gonna rip my dog, rip through dogs into the hearts of the.
Was that his favorite condiment for the hot dogs? Was that? Did he have mustard on his Franks? Or?
Mustard gas. You didn't cook them.
Hold on, I brought my own.
Oh, this bratwurst is most delicious. Get me my mustard gas.
This Frank will give me mustard
gas. God damn,
Banting,
you're out of control. Don't put all that mustard gas. You're crazy. We haven't cured it yet. Oh, God. Before this goes off the rails more, I think we should just conclude it.
So, beautiful.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Kyler.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful co-host. Maybe I will bring you a coffee next time.
Yes.
I think
I
you've
sure hope
earned
so.
it. This was a lot of fun. And thank you again, listeners. Tune in next week. I'll have some more off the rails Canadian history. Loosely, you can fact check that. It'll be out next week. Just not the other stuff. And yeah, thank you all so much. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Comes higher and